Hey y'all, it's your Queen Pimp Sun Kids coming through right fast for some shouts, which could be longer, but I'm still gonna call them shouts on the Soul Train Awards 2022. And this particular installment I've been calling Congratulating Commentary, dealing with people who's being congratulated, receiving awards, flowers, and honors and such. And of course, I'm here to talk about Xscape. So this will be the part 2 of their congratulating commentary. On part 1, I discussed their fashions from the pre-show and gave a little bit of elaboration on what I think the issue was when it came to the wardrobe and a couple of other things. So if that interests you, be sure to go over there and give it a look and a hear. See? Okay? Thank you. And so for this one, I'm going to nitpick at Tank. But then I'm also just going to discuss the exchanges of their exchange with Tank and each other during the pre-show. So this should be a shout. It should be a quick one. So let me pick on Tank right quick, right fast with his Puma looking self. Tank has always looked like a Puma to me. I haven't ever been a really big fan or too much of a fan at all of Tank's music. I respect his range and his abilities and everything and what he has contributed to the energy. His music in particular has just never really tickled my fancy. But he's a peculiar individual to me. He's done and said a couple of things that I'm not with. And he's done and said some things that I find quite funny. Like when he was in that group with Tyrese and Genuine and they had all of that. They had all of that male diva drama going on. The drama itself with the people themselves was humor and comedy enough, let alone to have Tank still being a comic relief in the midst of the foolishness. But child, that's a conversation for another time. I kind of enjoy Tank in a host role, and he looked hella lit during this pre-show. Now, when I say lit, I mean intoxicated, okay? He's giving me intoxicated excitement. Now, maybe he was just excited. Maybe. But he was giving me intoxicated excitement. Ain't nothing wrong with it. He just looked funny to me. Look at his eyes. Look at him. But let me stop picking at that and let's pick at his clothes. So, first of all, I love the suit jacket. I love the simplicity of it. I love how pristine white it is. It's not eggshell. It's not ecru. It is white. And then we got these pops with the black buttons, and we got the pop of red and yellow on the side. Two of my favorite colors. I'm not sure what shape it's making, but I don't even too much give a damn. It looked good to me. Now, I will say it kind of looks like the Incredibles logo, but that's okay. It's cute. His facial hair is very well kempt, very well groomed. His hair is very well groomed. However, I think his fade, and I'm nitpicking. But I think his fade is giving a little bit more of an ombre. Not quite a fade, you know? It's like vignette, not quite faded. And then the front part where his forehead is, it looks a little Beijing, but it's well done Beijing, whatever it is, okay? And if it's ombre, it's a well done ombre. I'm just nitpicking a little bit. But Tank got one of them peanut heads. And so it kind of like gets big at the top and then it's like long and kind of narrow at the bottom. So maybe that's why his barber probably had a hard time doing an actual fade and he had to give it an ombre vignette tease. Maybe that's what happened. And his pants have that same all white and then the red, yellow, and black pop on the side. If I'm not mistaken too, red, yellow, and black are somewhat universal black culture colors, because red, yellow, and black show up in Jamaican culture, African culture. African Americans in general also seem to gravitate toward those colors instinctively. So I wonder if he was trying to intentionally implicate that, or if that just so happened to be a coincidence. That was just a suit that he liked and said he wanted to wear to the show. And I'm fucking with it. I like the suit. My only critique is that I kind of wish that the pants were just all white, because something about the pants, you see it, something about the pants also having that print gives me not this event like he should be hosting like the ESPYs pre-show, if you will. Something about that print being on the pants gives me sporty. But that's also just kind of a little nitpick, because he does look good. That's just, if I could change anything, that would be one of the things that I would change. If I could also change anything else, I would hem his suit jacket just a tad. So I do clearly understand that he's going for the oversized look thing, and that's cool. But I'm realizing that Tank is not as tall as I would have presumed him to be. He's one of those mid-sized people that have long limbs, so they tend to look taller, but when they wear certain clothes, you can tell that it's swallowing them. And his pants look kind of big too, like he could be walking on the bottoms of them, and that just like give me the heebie-jeebies, because on top of the fact of it looking like he could potentially be walking on his pants are white. And granted, his pants are, well hemmed, but he has on black shoes and all of that. It's just, from my perspective, things look a little oversized on him. And it gives me anxiety because it's already white. And it's like, with all of that being said, I can't tell if his pants are hemmed like that, or if he got them tucked under, or if he has them tucked in his socks. The pants look like they're long, and he's trying extra hard to compensate for it. And the jacket looks too big on him. But see, I really don't want to nitpick at that, because he looks to have pretty long arms. So that's probably the size that he needed in order to fit for his arms. But like I said, that's why I would have just hemmed it a tad. Because you see how small his legs are also, and the jacket being big like that makes his legs look extra small and makes his top look extra wide and bulky and shit. It's kind of reminding me of like a black version of Professor from the Powerpuff Girls. And one last nitpick on his fit, I would have put him in red shoes to match the pop of red in his suit. And that's it. That's the last of the nitpicking on his fit. Overall, he looks really good. He looks real good nonetheless, as he is. And he did a great job in his exchange with Xscape. So he introduced them during the pre-show, brought them out to touch base a bit by the fact that they will be honored with the Lady of Soul Award for that night, this year's Soul Train Award. And he commends them on their real singing and real writing and real performance and showmanship and all that. And he gave us, a little flashback into his life, how, he used to be a little youngster sitting on the couch watching them on TV, waiting for his day in the sun, you know what I'm talking about? And now he got his day in the sun on the blue carpet at the Soul Train Awards, homaging them and interviewing them, bringing them out, you know what I'm saying, to honor them on a night where they are being honored. So it seems like a lot of artists were having full circle moments, having observed artists before them and then being able to stand in the place that those artists once were in order to praise them and homage them and honor them in their new positions. Everybody in a new position. And Xscape is also usually coming together to pay homage, honor, write, be featured on a song, help groom and train artists and things of that nature. They're usually in that position, and now they are getting more of the flowers that they have gotten in the past, and even more that they hadn't gotten in the past. And we're learning much more about them. And he asked them just a few questions along the lines of, what are they looking forward to for the night? What are they most excited about? What does it give him? What does it gave? Huh? And we start off with Tasha, aka Flash. No Midnight Falcon. And child, I ain't gonna lie, when I first watched this, I had to play it back about 2 or 3 times because her dress is so damn loud. I couldn't hear what the fuck anybody was saying, honey. But Tasha was giving one of those shady, rehearsed, church lady responses. But it was laced with some good stuff, such as, they've been in the game for 29 years. And not just in the way that most people say they've been in the game. They have been active in the game. They have stood the test of time, especially and particularly as it concerns relevancies. Still being seen on shows, still doing singing and music shows, still being called for shows, still writing for people, still singing for people. Like I said, writing for, and I don't like to use the term grooming because that has a different that has a alternative definition to it as well, but that's the term that keeps coming to mind, grooming artists. And when I say grooming artists, I mean training artists, giving them the tools that they need, putting them through challenging activities, rehearsals, practices, and things of that nature to make them better and accentuate and emphasize the talent that they already have. And you can tell that there are egos, of course, but above everything, you can tell that there is a real passion and a real love for each other and also their craft and their fans. And that is a major part of what has kept them not only active but relevant, and their fans still wanting and craving material and content from them. And Tiny follows up with, of course, thanking God and giving that specific attention to the fans and making it clear that without the fans, there would be no them. There would be no relevancy to them. And that's definitely the truth. There's definitely some shade and a message specifically for Tasha in there, because Tasha very clearly has a bit of a big head. And that was definitely a reminder, a passive-aggressive reminder, if you will, to Tasha in particular that, yeah, the fans got us here. Yeah, you can sing, you can perform, and you can do all of that. But if the fans ain't want to fuck with you, you wouldn't be shit. It's like if a tree falls in the middle of the woods, does it make a sound? Well, if nobody's there to hear it, who's to say that it does or doesn't, So if Xscape is in a stadium singing, does it make a sound? Well, if nobody is there to support it, who's to say if it does or doesn't? So it's like in the midst of your courage and confidence and accolades and success, you must stay humble, because it could all be gone just like that, It took you so long to build it, and it could be snatched away just like that because maybe people don't want to support you no more. And, God forbid, but it happens. And a lot of the times it happens because people lose their humility and they start feeling like they bigger and better than everybody else, or they don't need nobody, or they start moving like they can just use people as stepping stones and props, and that turns people off. But I'll hold that thought for now. So Tamika had chimed in real quick, right fast, to say that she just excited, she just ready to perform. And baby, when it was giving me, did y'all enjoy the chicken? I thought the chicken was good. It's the breaking up of an awkward, shady moment with a humorous deflection for me. But I'm here for it. She real cute. Seemed like a good time to me. So after those three speak their piece and get it out of the way, we move on to Candy. And something about this moment was like so transparent and real to me about Candy. It's kind of rare that we see Candy be vulnerable with emotion, and I know a lot of people see vulnerability as like crying and showing sadness and all of that shit, but Candy is displaying a vulnerability that is happy, that is excited, that is proud, that is grateful. And I love those earrings, and I can genuinely feel it radiating off of her body. I can genuinely feel that she probably knew what she was making for herself and what her goals were and that she could achieve them. But at the same time, she probably never saw it being that big. And I can just feel it radiating off of her that she's like so happy and so excited to be a part of such a group and such a beautiful, black, excellent situation. And she makes a mention also that they've been performing before people started using in-ears, which I believe is the earpiece that, if I'm remembering correctly, because where I'm from, they just call it a mic. But I believe, the in-ear earpiece for them to be able to hear themselves when they're on stage over all of the hustle and bustle and commotion and audience praise and all of that, so that they can sound well. You see people on stage and they may be cracking or kind of getting a bit shaky, and you see them touch their ear because they're trying to hear themselves, because that, makes an impact on the quality of how their voice will come out. And I wanted to draw in specifically on that because it literally did occur to me right before I was about to do this video that Xscape is one of the only groups that have stood the test of time in a literal sense. They have been present and active through multiple different changes in technology and multiple different ways to promote and sell your music and promote and sell yourself. And they have made the most out of all of those changes and implications. Reality TV, new technology, in-ears, social media, cell phones, computers, websites, performances, doing live shows, doing award shows, hosting, having their own talk shows, having their own YouTube channels and things of that nature, using it all individually and then also bringing it all together. Child, talk about well-rounded. As well as how they came out during a time where artists had artist development, like the people in the industry took their time to develop and train the artists, and that's not something that goes on so much now. Yet, like I said, they still have gone out of their way to be artist developers, as well as it's clear that they are media trained. It's clear that they are media trained. Even though they are media trained, and those media trained publicists written responses tend to get a lot of people in hot water now because it can come off like you're being fake. They know how to be real and still be themselves while using the media training to still be respectful and classy. Well-rounded. Just how they can be on stage shaking the shit out of each other and it's still well-rounded and classy. So Jermaine Dupri comes out, okay, and also gives them the ultimate honors, which is, I know it's not time, it's their time to be praised, right? But I think it's very cool that Jermaine is allowing them to have, their moment, because he could very well be on some P. Diddy shit. and assume his position as the fifth Xscape member type shit because of how much he plays a role in their success, not only their success but also their startup. And I will talk more about that in the video that I do on their performance, because he gives a really good introduction speech into their honors. But he does say how Xscape is the foundation of So Death. And I find that to be fucking amazing, because a lot of people's first artists are like either one hit wonders, or they just didn't pop off like talking about, or they, like I said, don't stand the test of time, you know? And not just the test of time, but the test of everything that comes with being an entertainer, let alone being an entertainer in the Hollywood, if you will, industry. So like I said, this says a lot about him, but it definitely says a lot about them, because they have taken initiative beyond that and have made the most out of themselves and out of the experience and out of the branches and foundations that he brought to the table with them. And it's just really freaking amazing to me, because there's so many groups that can't get past what could be simple conversations, what could be very little things, like even with them having the wardrobe issue. There's a lot of groups that would have let that deter them from the goal and from the honors at hand. It's a lot of groups that would have been like, fuck it, I'm out, this bitch got me fucked up, all this other foolishness. But that's something that I know I do, and I feel like a lot of people definitely respect them for, is respecting their craft and respecting their fans enough to bite the bullet, get past the bullshit enough to get on stage and give a magnificent performance. Now, real quick, right fast, I want to just pinpoint a couple of body language and other things that I pick up on in their interactions that tell me things. So, first of all, Tasha and Candy always being on opposite ends of each other when they're standing in a line in particular. You see Tasha's on one side, Candy's on the other, and the two Tamikas are in the middle. And based off of that, and based off of what I do know about their story and some of the issues that they have had, the two Tamikas are usually in the middle, trying to mediate, trying to be neutral, trying to keep the peace of everything. And that can definitely, like, that can have its pros, but it also can have its cons, because as well-rounded as they are, that type of functionality can limit people in real life circumstances. So you are putting all of the responsibility of the peace on these two people, which takes the responsibility from two other people in the group, which probably led to two people being pretty unruly coming up. Now, what I know about Candy is that Candy tends to be very passive aggressive. What I know about Tasha is that Tasha tends to be quite direct with some slight passive aggression, maybe a little fakeness, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Nice nasty, that's the word. Nice nasty. Nicety, as Miss Chalet would say. And those two types of personalities coming together, I can definitely see clashing, because Tasha may take Candy as being uppity and snobby, or acting like she, you know, too good, or maybe even like she's fake, like she doesn't speak her mind as much as she should, like she doesn't speak up for things as much as she should. And it may have Candy looking at Tasha like she's problematic, always fussing, always nagging, always looking for something to be mad about. And maybe both of them are right, and maybe both of them are wrong, all at the same time. What I also want to point out, And you can look at it when it shows all of them standing together once again. But the way that Tasha, yes, they're all standing in a line, they're all standing together, right? But Tasha, before JD gets up there, Tasha tends to lean her body away from the girls. You see, the two Tamikas and Candy, their butts are going in one direction together. Their shoulders are like a parallel and diagonal to each other, while Tasha is kind of leaning more so on her right foot, while the other girls are leaning on their left foot. And that shows me the separation and the discord showing up in their body language. The two Tamikas and Candy are on one accord, and Tasha is separating herself. Tasha does not want to be around them. She is not trying to fool with them. She really not liking them. And you can also see her head tends to lean to the right, away from them as well. And I know I have it moving really fast and also really slow at certain points, so if you need to, you can pause it so you can see what I'm talking about. But also I noticed that Tasha got the happy feet a little bit, like she kind of shifting on both of her feet. For the most part, she's putting most of her weight on the right, leaning away from them, but she is also kind of like tiptoeing and sashaying, like she's fidgety, if you will. And that to me reads as she's trying her hardest not to look discomforted around them. She's trying real hard to keep up the front and keep up the happy poker face and the unitedness of it all. But she really does not want to be there. She doesn't feel comfortable. She doesn't feel grounded. She doesn't feel stable in the environment. And honestly, to me, she looks like she's really not all that comfortable in her dress. And she looks like she is not comfortable in the group. Like, she just looks uncomfortable in her body language. It reads to me like in the back of her mind, she knows that she's kind of fucked up in a way. And like I said, I feel like all of them have a part to play in things. But it's like when you on a team, if you ever been on a dance team and you thought y'all was wearing one uniform to the performance, and so you showed up in that uniform, but when you got there, everybody else had on the other uniform, and they still gonna let you perform, and you still excited to perform, but you also like, damn, are they gonna know? Damn, like, ooh, but okay, ooh, damn, am I standing out? Ooh. And I do believe that she wanted to stand out, but I think that how she went about it is kind of nibbling on the back of her mind, and it's showing up in her body language. And I can also see it the way she drops her hand when she's done talking. She brings the mic up, and then she very loosely drops her hand, like, okay, that's over. If you notice, everybody else, when they take the mic away from their mouth, there's still some discipline and control and grace behind the way they remove the mic from their mouth. It's not just the lackadaisical drop, an abrupt drop, swing, loose ass drop. You know what I'm saying? There's a sigh of relief that comes off to me when she drops the mic from her mouth. That gives me, whoo, glad that's over. It's like Leos and Capricorns when you pressure them to smile in a picture and they give you a little yang yang, you know what I'm saying? And then right after you take the camera down, they're like, oh, okay, don't ever ask me to do that again. That's what it's giving me. And one more thing before I close it out. I was looking at a clip right before I started doing this. I think the clip is from about maybe somewhere between 3 to 5 years ago. I'm dyscalculic, so bear with me, but I know it was from some years ago. And Tiny is in an interview with Vlad over on Vlad TV, and she talked about some of the disagreements and altercations that have gone on amongst the members, and she made mention of a slap fight that took place between her and Kenzie, and an actual fist fight that took place between Kenzie and Tasha, and how it was something that was the fight between Candy and Tasha was low-key high-key something that was bound to happen because it was a buildup of irritations and all that shit coming to a head. And a brawl happened. It got crazy. She wouldn't tell us who won. She told me wait for the movie. I don't know. I don't know who I would think would have won the fight because Tasha is bigger. It seemed like she got some might, you know what I'm saying? But at the same time, Candy seemed like a silent killer, you know what I'm saying? And then she probably got that little woman crazy strength that us little women tend to have, especially when you piss us off, and especially when you the type of person to like hold shit in until it pop, you know what I'm saying? I don't know. Candy might have worked her, cause I kind of feel like Tasha would be petty enough to come out and be like, bitch, I whooped your ass, or you know what I'm saying, don't talk to me like that, I whoop your ass again. Yeah. I feel like Tasha would be petty enough to come out at some point and say that. Maybe not. But with that thought, I feel like because she hasn't, Candy might have won. Because, you know, Candy's a little more graceful than that. You know what I'm saying? So she wouldn't be the one to come out and be like, yeah, I whooped that bitch ass, da da da. So I don't know. Kenzie might have gave her a run for her money, child. Tisk. But I said all that to say that definitely made it clear to me that all of them play a role. That Candy has her own faults in the situation. That, you know, Candy is not completely innocent, while she's also not completely to blame. And what I also know about Candy is that she has a tendency to function in a way that feels like she's beyond reproach in a way. Like, because she has done so many good things, it's hard to tell her when she is showing flaws. And because people are constantly congratulating and complimenting her and doting over her and how great she is and the great things that she does, it's hard for her to hear criticism. And that could definitely play a major role in the discord between her and Tasha in particular, because both of them could possibly have that trait, whereas Candy is not one to always be like calling out issues or looking for a stance to take type shit. But Tasha is more vocal. And on top of that, I think that because Tasha is, you know, possibly intuitive in a way that's borderline hypervigilant, and because she possibly has been right about so much, it can be hard for her to hear and accept when she's actually in the wrong. And like I said, those two personalities coming together can definitely clash. And with that being said, I definitely think it plays a part in why the two Tamikas are usually standing in between them, and they are usually on the ends, because they have actually came to blows. But child, I have milked this cow dry, and I definitely have another part, maybe two, maybe a couple coming after this because I have to cover their performance. And I might do it song by song, and therefore it'll be more videos. Or I might do them all together, but I'm more than likely going to do it song by song. And I'm more than likely going to do their acceptance speech as its own video, because there are some things that I want to unpack and commentate on there. So yeah, I have milked this cow dry. And if you're feeling synchronized, please like, share, and subscribe so that you can be one of the first to be back through these queenly quotas for the next time. And be sure to bless my comment section with your questions and conversations. And as always, I bid you all light, love, healing, and liberation. Emphasis on liberation. Mwah.